Alright, I just got this card in the mail today. It should be a FedEx. Bought it off of eBay. And it is a TNT2 card that I purchased just for using the components of the board to try to revive my TNT2 Ultra. So if you saw my last Pixelbox haul video, you'll know that I actually got a TNT2 Ultra, which does not work. It actually shipped without any packaging because it was a scrap box of PC parts and some of the components on the board got knocked off. So I needed another card with an identical PCB and similar components on it to repair that with. And this one was cheap. It was only, $15, I think. I don't remember if this card is the TNT2 Pro or if it's just the regular TNT. But I'm actually going to go ahead and test this card just to make sure that it works, so that I know that if this card works, then everything on it should be good to use. Alright, got the drivers installed, so now we're just going to see if it boots into Windows. Sorry, I'm still working on getting direct capture hardware, but it's pretty expensive, or at least by my standards, it's pretty expensive. Okay, excellent. So got past all the post screens. Yeah, it was looking like it works just fine. Now I did, before I recorded, I did try this card in my XP system. It does the same thing that the TNT2 Ultra did, which is it doesn't even come on at all. So there's just a total incompatibility there with my motherboard in my XP system and the Diamond TNT cards. Let's load up Power Strip. Now I do not want to correct that. That's not actually an issue. Did not shut down properly last time. But we're not going to worry about that. I don't know what that was. Alright, so this is 125 on the core and 149 on the memory. So that is the equivalent of a regular TNT2, not the Pro, which is fine. It's still a diamond card, so still useful. I'm just going to go ahead and do some tests. It is a fully working card, so I at least want to see what the performance is like before I effectively gut it for parts. Oh, okay. That just crashed. Not getting anything with 3D acceleration to work. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, it's working now. It wasn't so much reinstalling the driver as I actually just needed to use an older driver. I was using Foursquare 71.84, which is just what was already installed, and it kind of just used the driver I already had. I believe that's the newest driver that is quote-unquote compatible with a TNT2, but it obviously didn't work with hardly anything. I actually got Quake 3 to run, but every other hardware accelerated application just wouldn't run at all. So I also had 53.04 installed on here. I went ahead and applied those, and we're off and running, so this is great. Alright, so now that I've got this card tested and I know that it's working, unfortunately it has to be sacrificed for the greater good, for a much more valuable and we'll say historically significant card. Already got my setup going here. I pulled out all the stops in the sense that, let's see, I get it focus here. I actually bought Rosen core solder, so that's good. And man, it's having a hard time focusing And then I also got some flux. So that's pretty important for this type of work. So on this card, both of the rear, these are tantalum capacitors. They were knocked off. I kind of got one back on, but the way they were broken, so the metal pieces on the sides of the capacitors was still on the board and actually snapped off of the capacitors. And there was like barely any metal left on the caps themselves. Now I kind of got this one to stay on, but I haven't done any testing just with that one. And I'm actually going to take this off because I got 2 new ones to use. So I'm not even going to bother to see if that worked or not. And then there's even some resistors on the back as well. So you can see right here, there's some that got knocked off, a few right there. There's one up here in the top right corner that's kind of just hanging on by a thread. There's another cap right there, C75, that got knocked off. So just various things all around that I'm going to try to restore and get everything up to basically new condition as much as possible. We're working with really tiny components here, so it's going to be tricky. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to remove both of these caps off the back of this card, and then all the resistors on the back I'm just going to take off one at a time so I don't lose track of where everything goes. And so we'll start with removing these. So to remove these, I'm actually going to add some solder first to help loosen it up. Make sure this is hot enough here. Yep. Okay. Alright, and I'm going to add some flux as well. Alright, got the first one off. It's bent a little bit, but it came out pretty clean. So, moving on to the next one. Okay, so I got both of the caps removed from the donor card, and I removed the metal pieces off of the back of this card. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to put the new capacitors in. I got the 2 new caps installed and did the best I could. I couldn't get them to sit flat because I couldn't get both sides to remain hot at the same time, so but they're attached, so we'll just leave it be for now. And we're going to work on the components on the back now. Alright, so I finally finished doing all the ones in the back. This one in the corner and a few down here. And this yellow guy right here, which is a capacitor replacement. Doesn't look the same as the other ones here, but it should hopefully still work. Everything went fairly smoothly. I did drop one of the resistors, which was terrifying because I didn't think I'd be able to find it again. But yeah, I think we are ready to finally test this and see if my TNT2 Ultra that I found in a scrap box can actually work. No popping sound. And we still have post. Alright, moment of truth. It's not doing anything. Oh boy. Well, as indicated by this blank screen, yeah, unfortunately the mod didn't work, the repair job. And, you know, that was the risk I took. I was always hopeful that the card still functions, but you know, maybe having those parts knocked off of it fried the chip or something else. And you know, may not have worked in the first place. So it was definitely worth a shot. It's a disappointment, but you know, to be fair, I'm not any worse off than I was. I was just hopeful that it would work, and it doesn't. And like I said, this kind of comes with the territory. But I am improving my skill with the soldering iron, so that's a useful thing. I can grow from that at least. So until next time, thanks for watching. There'll be good stuff yet to come.